Hello, George.
Hi, Kojo.
Yes. Interesting day yesterday.
Yes.
You guys, they made you wait at power. They made us all wait for 4 hours before they
If you
read the
if you
budget.
covered budgets over the years from Parliament, it was not out of the ordinary, if I can use that expression. Maybe, but the hours that
I mean,
dragged.
4 hours. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
you know, so
there's usually one delay or the other.
It was expected, and
But 4 hours.
it's often not because the person who is presenting it is not around. I remember a similar thing that happened during September's time, and that was even the main budget, and it delayed. And later, when the concerns were addressed, you know,
So George, you were there. What were the concerns?
a lot of things were flying around, you know, but the interesting thing was that they managed to reach an agreement on
What were flying?
What
around?
was flying around?
Oh, the bit about, you know, MPs common fund and all those things and being addressed. So there's other issues as well.
Well, the thing about common fund, yes, they have to pay that. But what I have realized in Parliament, and you know, for anybody who's covered Parliament, these things are normally bipartisan. When I say bipartisan, a lot of the times you actually would realize that is the majority supports the minority because they all beneficiaries.
Yes.
You know, when the common fund is paid, there's an MP's share. There's also a monitoring and evaluation aspect of it that is paid quarterly. So when all of these are paid, the MPs, as they go to their constituencies, now they have to, monitor and evaluate these projects, and is able to assist them do a lot of things. Their share of the common fund around this time that is election, mind you, the whole idea of an MP share of a common fund, which I think is a lot of problem for even members of Parliament, but it was something that the late squadron leader Sou proposed. Then, as minister, some of the assemblies actually returned common fund. And said, they were giving this amount of money for the quarter, they couldn't use all of it. And then he said, well, so since members of Parliament, go campaigning and they make promises, why don't you give them a percentage of the common fund so they can also use that to actually redeem some of these pledges or promises that they make on the campaign platforms. And that was the decision to have an MP share of the common fund. But this is it for me. You have to pay the money. I mean, but you've collected the money, pay.
But again, that this was one of the reasons. You understand me? So there could be other reasons.
Well,
why.
I mean, if it is one of the reasons, then I find it interesting that only half of the MPs were absent from the chamber fighting for this reason. So the other MPs, they were not interested in getting their common fund.
Well, that's why I keep saying that, as someone who's covered Parliament before, I'm not going to mention the year, because if I mention the year, but I remember one time I saw a majority and minority whip having a conversation. The minority whip said, "Oh, this Canaba." Then the majority whip said, "Nabiu," and the majority whip suggested to him, "Charlie, Munrizi Korum." From this Canaba. So,
but it's funny because you would have thought that this is one of the issues that comes up in Parliament that is not partisan, like you said earlier. So if it's not partisan, then it means it's really the institution of Parliament putting pressure on the institution of the executive to make a payment, right? So it's not a partisan issue. Why would the ruling party's MPs not want to visibly be seen to be part of Parliament?
You know, there's a whip system.
Okay.
In Parliament,
Anyway,
let me just let's continue, because the ruling MPs, the ruling party's MPs would never openly be seen
to be part of Parliament.
No.
They would rather be seen to be part of their political party.
They would actually tell
there's
their
always
friends.
a whip system.
They'll tell their friends, "Start, we'll support you. Start, we'll support you." Okay, so let's start off with daily guide for this morning. And Nana commissions 320 police housing units. And so we're told that, the president has commissioned 320 new housing units for the Ghana Police Service at the Accra Police Depot in Tesano. Now, this milestone, which is a testament to the government's dedication, according to the daily guide, to improving living conditions for security personnel, makes a pivotal step in bolstering national security and safety. And the president, speaking at the ceremony, said these 320 housing units symbolize our resolve to ensure that those who risk their lives daily to protect us have a safe and comfortable place to call home. And talking about housing also, I see in the in the mid-year budget review, the Minister of Finance talks about a new PPP arrangement. And so now it's not going to be government, coming in, government going to pay money, and for persons to develop, housing units. But they're going to go into arrangement. So when a developer say has land, government would then construct roads, would get electricity, construct the drainage system. So when you build, then, because you didn't, have to take care of all of these things, the cost actually reduces.
Yeah.
But in selling that, in going into this arrangement, government also, through the State Housing Corporation, by way of building the infrastructure, as in road and other things, would have some equity in it.
Yeah.
That's their contribution. And so after the sale, government will be paid some money. And so persons who also have lands, families who have lands, could actually get real estate developers to do this, and then government would facilitate the construction. And that's what is actually happening at Pokiase, for instance. Government is doing that. They're constructing the road. That is good. And, I was talking earlier about the Economic Enclave project, where government, got these lands that you would have to go there. There are, access roads, irrigation. You go there, you're giving acres of land, and then you cultivate the land. You rent the land annually, so every acre will come at a fee. And then there are millers there. So when you go to the Kusunya area, for instance, there are rice millers there. You could just go mill your rice, get it into the market. That's good. Because if we have to get some of these things done, government must collaborate with the private sector. And I think this is something, I say that, look, it's one of the good things Ken Ofori-Atta did, but he should have done it in his first year. The Economic Enclave project.
Yeah.
He should have done it in his first year, not in his last year. Anyway, still on the front page, 9.9 billion spent on free SHS as the economy rebounds. It's also here. Supreme Court affirms BOG revocation of UniCredit license. Store will work again. Herbert Krapper assures. NDC, according to the Daily Guide, destroys posters of Adentan NPP candidate. And Otumfo chats with King Charles. Now, this is bad. If this happened, it's bad. We are in a political season, and the last thing we want is a thing like this.
Even not attributing it to any political party, I think that the practice of accommodating people who might not share in your views or even your political party during the season is very, very important.
Yeah.
So it's not whether it's even linked to directly to NDC, we cannot independently establish it has been reported, all right. But I think that let's accommodate others. This is a season where we should allow everyone to campaign in peace. If you know these people are in an area doing their campaign, could you just even wait for them to finish and then you do yours? The world is big for us, everybody, to share their views and move on.
Yeah, that's one that I saw, caught my attention. It's on page 7. Seshiri also residents bare teeth over MP's dismissal. And it says residents of Seshiri also in the West Region demonstrated against the mistreatment of the Member of Parliament, Dr. Kwekwe in the House.
Oh, he's the Member of Parliament who got sent out because he said it does not lie in the mouth of the Speaker to say something.
You saw the Speaker address. Is it
that's it, basically.
Regalia or whatever yesterday during his...
The Speaker, he came out resplendent in kente with a crown. Yes. He does take his traditional wear very seriously,
Nana Speaker.
Yes, he tries to represent different cultures from Ghana every opportunity he gets. I think that's actually a positive move. I like it. It gives us something to look forward to as well, Every time he's coming into the chamber, you want to see what he will be wearing today. I like it. I like it very much.
I see. Interesting. Let's look at the new finder. It has 30 billion Ghana cedi disbursed in 6 months as growth has been revised to 3.1% from 2.8%. Also, the minority leader out of force and is saying that the media budget is uninspiring scrap taxes. And that's what he says. A new government faces significant challenges from 2026, according to former Minister of Finance Tekpe Ruto's property tax to be reintroduced in 2025.
What happened to the property tax? My assembly.
I think they've been struggling about even who should manage it, who should handle it, because the plan was it to go to GRA, then again it came back to the assembly. I think that all the work has been done.
You see,
the challenge has been who should supervise the implementation of this tax, and maybe that's where now it has been resolved, and we are going ahead to.
George, you can never have an effective district assembly system where the metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives are appointed by the president.
You think we should go the voting line?
Everything the literature says about, competition. So we say that, when you operate decentralization, there is also competition, okay? Even amongst the districts or the assemblies. Why? Because if, for instance, at Ladade Kotopong, I am doing something unique, the Krowo Municipal Assembly, members of Krowo would actually make demands of the assembly also. They say, you have to do this for us.
Yeah.
Because we see it happening in Ladade Kotopong. But when you don't see these things, when all you see is that they wait for the government to pay them common fund, and then, 2, they actually outsource the collection of, advertising revenue to institutions, some of which take as much as 30% of the revenue and pay the remaining 70% to the assemblies. I have consistently been of the view that if we were to elect these MMDCs, my brother, they will work. Because if you want, and this is the other point. Why? In a country where we say we practice decentralization, and yet central government, through the Common Fund Administrator, can actually purchase things for the assemblies at the central level and use their common fund to pay. And so today, one of the most juicy government positions is administrator of the common fund. I mean, we pay lip service to everything. No wonder in his book or in his collection of essays, Professor Ahoy says Ghana practices a central government supply-driven decentralization. Think about that for a minute. So we're joking. We're joking. Go to my assembly. The previous MC, Kakiman, who was removed, didn't care about the roads. Yes, she didn't care. When people complain, she said that people should be grateful to her because she is taking steps. Can you imagine? MCE says, be grateful to me because I'm taking steps.
The thing about voting at the local level, I mean, some will say that are we now gotten to the level where we are ready for it? Because some are still worried about the political nature of this.
Don't do it on a partisan basis. Every argument I've heard for doing it on a partisan basis has fallen flat. Every argument, it's basically let's do it that way because that's what we are used to. Let's do it that way because that's what we are familiar with. But what's the point of doing something new if you won't do something new?